Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today, as I have promised you, that we will work on teacher training workshop. So today the topic is teacher training workshop. But remember one thing, that before starting this, I want to tell you a few points. And remember that teacher training workshop never ends. If you are a loyal, hardworking and dedicated teacher, then whole your life you have to learn something. So before starting, I will tell you one thing. What basically school and institution is where you are working. What they are demanding from you. Why we train teachers. Why a training is very important for teachers. So first take one step, that is institution. Suppose the institution where you are working started in 2001 and now if we will take time, it's 2020. Now look at this graph. This started in 2001. First year it went there, then it goes in this way, again here, here, and now this is the time where your institution is standing 2020. This is the success that school has taken gradually passing years, and school has reached now over here with 450 plus students. Now my dear, when from here, suppose if it is moving on this path, no increase in students, no progress, it's fine. Once it goes down, then from here coming back to this position, it will take 10 to 15 years. Remember, this is what school business is. Once you drop once you drop this, then again bringing your school to that standard, it is impossible. And majority of the institutions says that why our school has gone down, why the value has gone down, because of teachers. Now there are two things. First, every teacher is qualified. He and she is experienced. If not, at least graduated or masters. Those institutions who believe in these things, that okay, whatever the teacher's education is, we will hire the teacher on low salaries and this. No, I'm talking about good institutions where you are working on good salaries. So remember this thing, that why teacher training is very necessary, because a trained teacher always work in a positive manner. A trained teacher. So we will start with teacher training workshop. The very first thing that I want to tell you is that, remember, first you must understand what is a teacher training workshop. Teacher training workshop is nothing but sharing of experiences. A person who is standing in front of you has passed so many years in education, and now that male or female is standing in front of you and giving lecture on teacher training workshop. Why? Because at this moment, Javed Aziz is standing, passed so many years in education. Naturally, he worked in different institutions, reputed institutions, and now he is sharing his experience with you. And when sharing those experiences, he has given the name teacher training workshop. This is what a teacher training workshop is basically. Otherwise, the points of a good teacher, you all know. But if you will go to these points, if you will work on these, if you listen carefully, and implement these points in your life, then it is very important. Today's part 1 I am doing for you, teacher training workshop, and remember that we will go on why we are teachers and what to do as a teacher. So the second point, it says writing pads and pen, shaking heads. Now, when I was a young teacher, like you people, my trainer, they came from England, Mr. and Mrs. White. I was at Beacon House School at that time. And you know, Mr. and Mrs. White, they said that whenever, the first day when they took lecture, we were sitting relaxed, that we will sit and listen to them. They said, where are your pads and pencils and pens? You are not going to note anything? At once, we opened our bags and pad and pencils. And then he said, remember one thing, pad and pens should be there so that the trainer, the teacher who is training you must think that they are paying attention to you. And during your lecture, this happens in your class also. A student who is sitting at the back or at front always shake his or her head. As soon as you turn to that child, that student, like I'm talking to you, so some teachers, they do like this whenever my eye contact is with that teacher. So he said that shaking head means that that person is not understanding anything. So shaking head and keeping pads and pens with you, that is very important during training workshop. So if you like any point, just note it down. How to introduce your institution in public. The very utmost value that a teacher has is how that teacher introduce his or her institution in public. Whenever I ask someone, tell me something about your house, either the person is living in a very small house, even then the person says my house is excellent. So when you are working in an institution, then if somebody, your neighbor or some relative asks you, where you work? In so and so school. How that school is? Some people say very good. And sometime answer comes, so, bas theek hai. Then a person like me, if I have asked this question and I got that answer, if you have answered me, so theek hai, then I must have said that, beta, you are also so, because you are working in that institution. So whenever somebody asks you about your institution, how your institution is, always say my institution is great. My institution is excellent. The other person will ask you why. Give the answer. Because I am working over there. I am excellent, therefore my institution is also very excellent. And my institution is excellent, this is the reason that I am excellent. So whenever you introduce your institution, always in good words. Because this is your ownership. Don't become stepson. Sometimes it happens you will find strict administration. What a strict administration is. What a teacher thinks. When I was young, I was a new young teacher. I also think about this. Whenever principal, coordinator, they don't like my work, they scold me for something, I say, administration is very strict. I don't want to work in this institution. No. Then my teachers told me that, remember Javed Aziz, if you want to be an excellent teacher, then for you, strict administration is very important. So don't try to be stepson. Take the ownership of the school. Now I will explain you what basically ownership is. You are sitting in your house. Guests came to your house and that guest is your father's boss and his family. And small kids are there. And you have decorated your house very well. And suddenly you see that one of the guest's child, he takes a marker and on the wall, he do like this. What you will do? Guests are very important, but you will say, shh, please beta, don't do this. Good bachas don't do these types of things. You stop them. Then in your institution, when a child is putting scratches on desk or with marker putting pencils on walls, why you are quiet? Why? Because you are a stepson of the family. If you have got the ownership means that when the child will spoil any desk, chair or any wall of the institution or anything of your institution, then the same thing, your heart will start to get disturbed as at your house. Then you will take the ownership. When you will take the ownership of the institution, then you are a great teacher. Whatever administration is, you are working as a teacher over there, and your responsibilities is that you take the ownership. Sometimes I ask, when I'm taking a live teacher training workshop, CEOs sitting there, principals there, and many of the administration people are there, with teachers there sitting and listening that what this trainer is giving to our teachers. And then I asked one question. One day I asked one teacher, who is the owner of this school, of this institution? And that teacher pointed to CEO, Mr. So-and-so. I said, no, you are the owner of this institution. Because you are working. Take the ownership. If I have borrowed a car from my friend, and somebody else will ask me, wow, what a great car. Who is the owner of this? At this moment, I am the owner because I am driving this car. So take the ownership. That is very important. Now I basically come what teaching is. Teaching is nothing but choice learning. An excellent teacher, a good teacher. I am MS Zoology. But if today, for 36 years I have been teaching this bio subject and English. Now, if somebody will ask you that, Javed Aziz, tomorrow morning you have to teach what is biology to class 9th grade. You know what? Today I will open the book and I will read that what biology is. Today I will learn, tomorrow I will teach. I will do my homework, then I will stand in front of the student. This is what choice learning is, and this is what pure teaching is. So teaching is choice learning. Teaching is not just verbal. This is old teaching style. The teacher came, open your books, read the passage and said few words, then exercise this, question number 1, answer mark on page this, paragraph number this, line number this. And come on, copy it down, then do the rectification, learn the question and give the exam and you are passed. No, now teaching is not verbal. Be energetic. Be energetic in your class. Prove your wealth. Sometimes I have heard from many teachers, you know what they say? They get appointment in a very good institution, and after 2 months they say, salary badi kam hai. But they are taking too much work and giving so less salary. Then I asked one question to those teachers. I said, just tell me one thing. When you were appointed, who appointed you? They said, ma'am principal. I said, okay, ma'am principal got a gun in her hand. You were at the gunpoint. They say, no. Then I say, then what happened at that time? You said, ma'am, I'm going to take salary, suppose 2,000 per month. Ma'am said, no, we are going to pay you 800 only. And then you said, no ma'am, 800 is very less. Then ma'am said, okay, I'll make it 1200. That's fine. And you both agreed on that, and then you signed the appointment letter. After 2 months, now you are saying, because at that moment when you signed the appointment letter, ma'am also told you that you have to do these things. These are your duties in this institution. against this 1200 salary. And they are not giving anything else to do. Substitution, my dear, substitution is your work. At your house, if mother is not well, she is washing dishes daily. If she is not well, she is on bed. Who will wash the dishes? You are going to do it. You are the substitute of your mother. Either you are male or female. You have to clean the house. Then substitution is not a burden, it is part of the job. So, I say, why after 2 months you thought that they are giving very less salary? You did an agreement. So now if you want to increase, then prove your wealth. That yes, administration will think that without this person, without this teacher, we are nothing. So prove your wealth. Then comes, why a teacher? Why you are a teacher? There are 2-3 reasons. The first is that teaching is my passion. I have seen my teacher, wow, and I want to be like her. I love to teach. Excellent answer. A very successful teacher is one whose passion is teaching. The second reason why you are a teacher, that I'm son of my family. My father gets a very low salary, or I'm an orphan, and I have to run my family. Either the teacher is male or female. I'm running my family, so I'm son of my family. Very good. Because you know, you are running your family, so you will be very punctual, regular and dedicated to your job. Why? Because of your family. One, because of passion. You are very dedicated. Second, because you are son of your family, you are running your home, so you are very dedicated. The third answer comes, I have done master's, completed studies, now marriage is next year. So I thought 1 year I am free, so therefore I took the job of a teacher. The one more answer, this is from female side, one more answer from male side. Oh, I have applied in so many government areas, government offices, still there is no call. So I said I am free, so let me be a teacher for a year. Unless and until I'll get a call. So I tell those that for God's sake, please stay at home. Teaching is not for these persons. You are not here to enjoy, my dear. So remember, teacher is born, not made. Teacher is always born. Every teacher has got, I have seen so many MPhils and PhD. They can't stand and teach 9th and 10th grade. They can't stand and teach. Because they are not born as a teacher. They are made. They got the degrees, they got the jobs, and that's it. But a teacher who is born as a teacher is a real teacher. Your job description. Please, my dear, whenever you join an institution, you always work on your syllabus. Why not sit on Google and search what are duties of a teacher? If per day, if I will go for the duty of a teacher, my dear, it is more than 180 duties that a teacher performs daily. But school demands only 40 to 42 duties from you. Just search that how many duties. So your job description is very important. If you will study all my 3 parts of this teacher training workshop, this is part 1, then part 2 and part 3. All these points are your job descriptions. So when you start as a good success, you want to be a successful teacher, then please, job description is very important. To whom you are answerable? The very first thing, the question arises, to whom you are answerable. Teacher says, to my CEO, to my principal, to my coordinator, to the administration in charge. No, my dear, a teacher is directly answerable to Allah Almighty. Teacher and doctor, these 2 professions, they are directly answerable to Allah Almighty. Why? Because we are playing with lives. Doctor is doing operation, one single wrong movement, death of that child, death of that patient. And one single move of teacher, in future, that child, you are spoiling the whole character of that child. So remember, that we are not answerable to our CEOs, we are not answerable to principal and other people, we are directly answerable to Allah. If a teacher thinks like that, then teacher will always be loyal and dedicated to his or her profession. That is teaching. Small mistakes. In institution, as I told you, doctor and teacher, small mistake is not a small mistake. Small mistake is not a small mistake. It becomes habit and then becomes big. Like I told you, that one small mistake that you do. Suppose if I will tell you that on daily basis, if you are coming late to school, on daily basis, this is not a small mistake. If you are doing a lot of spelling mistakes while writing on board, it is not a small mistake. क्या हुआ मैम मैं गलती से ई की जगह ए डाल दिया था? No. This is such a big mistake because the notebooks, the student will copy the same thing, it will go home and it will spoil the whole school graph. Majority of the parents, they just look at the written work of the copies, of your homework, of your notes that you give. So remember, in institution small, because we are playing with lives. So there is no small mistake like doctors. Human error and mistake. I told you that day also, human error is fine. Because we are human beings, so human error is fine. Once it happened, then somebody has told you, so next time, if I have written this verbal with W, and my principal has told me, sir, the verbal is not W, it is V. It is my error, human error. Next time if I will write W, then it is not a small mistake, it is a big mistake. Making and spoiling characters, I will tell you one thing. Remember, you have not felt this thing. I sometimes ask teachers, have you met parents outside when you are on road or somewhere? So teacher says yes. I said, what is your age? Sir, I am 22. A very young teacher. And one day she said, sir, yesterday, class 4th student, she was in market with her family and I was there too. And the grandmother of that child, she stood in front of me, Miss G, how are you? Miss G, you are so good. My granddaughter likes you very much. And then I asked the teacher, stand in front of the mirror and look at you. Look at your age and that grandmother. She is standing in front of you like this. Why? Because she demands that you will make the character of her granddaughter. You are not going to spoil it. Now how we can spoil the character? Once my mother was in hospital and there was one doctor. One girl, many years back in Quetta, she was my student. She was not studying biology. She was in 9th class at that time. Her father called me and said, Sir Javed, we want to make her a doctor. She hates biology. Do whatever you want. But I want numbers in metric. And then second year I want to make her a doctor. I said, okay. Then somehow, she was 4 years, she was my student. Sometimes I scolded her, even 2-3 times I slapped her. And then after that, Alhamdulillah, she was 4th position holder in Balochistan. And finally she got Bolan Medical College. After that, tuition ended. 16 years after that, that girl met me. She was a major doctor in CMH Quetta. My mother was there and when we were moving out, you know what she said? She was standing there. I have not recognized that she is the same girl. 16 years, totally changed. Now she is a mother. She got a big family. So, at that time she said to her senior, sir, who is this Mr. Javed Aziz? He is the one who made me doctor. He is the one. At that moment, what my feelings were? I made the character of that child. She herself said. And one of my students, he was in bad company since childhood, and after that, when he left school, 10 years after that, I met him on road. You know what that person is? He is a big culprit. He did 3 murders and he's moving on road. And I saw him. I was also in the market and he was coming from that side, just opposite. He came to me, and like in school, in his student life, he always stands like this in front of me, and I always pat on his shoulder. So he came like that, and I said, "How are you, son?" He said, "Sir, Alhamdulillah, I'm fine." And then I asked one question. I said, "What have you been? Kya ban gaye ho?" You know what he said? He said, "Sir, you made me. You teachers made me this." You remember, sir, when I was in 9th grade, you remember that my family was very strict. Nobody loves me. At that time, what you said? You said, "He is a waste child." You have never taken me in your arms. आपने कभी मुझे प्यार नहीं किया. आपने भी मुझे बुरा बोला. You know, by this nature, we teachers, he was right, we teachers have spoiled. So he said, "Sir, then me, I will not become a doctor. Naturally, I will become a dacoit." So this happens. So making and spoiling character lies to you. We are human beings, superior. Remember one thing, Allah has said that human beings, you are superior than all other living organisms. Ashraful makhluqat. If a company says you just buy a juicer from market and takes it home, your mother or your wife says, "Oh, why you bought it so expensive?" Mother, look at this guarantee card. Guaranteed 5 years. PCICS Limited, Switzerland. A guarantee is there. So when Allah Almighty has said that you are superiors, what guarantee He has given to us? Think about it. I will not take your much time. During my live workshop, I asked this question to students, and my teacher answers, brain, lion, tiger, cats, they also have got brains. Allah has given us smile. Just think for a second, not a single living organism on this earth has got this thing. This smile only human beings have. So Allah has made us superior and has guaranteed us that you are superiors because I have given you a smile. We are not using it. We are misers in using smile. This smile works a lot. So if you are working in an institution, you are dealing small children or young students, where your smile is. But remember, if you are a polite teacher, that never smile until Christmas. Because a polite teacher, then students will take you granted. So as polite teacher, you should always smile when Christmas is there. What do you mean by Christmas is there? When a big thing happens in your class, then give a small smile. Because you are already polite. And if you will carry on smiling on everything, then student will not come in your control. So these are the points, the 12 points that we have done today. Tomorrow we will continue from here. So I just request all of you, listen this video again and again and bring these 12 points in your mind. If you don't want to agree on any point, just write a comment to me, please. I will make it more clear in second video, that is teacher training workshop part 2. So I will wait for your comments. I hope that you will watch this video again and again. You will subscribe your family channel and press the bell icon. I guarantee you this thing, that all teachers who will watch these 3 videos about teacher training workshop, one day you will pray for me. These are the points that how you can become an excellent, successive and dedicated teacher. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for today. Thank you.